There was a man. He didn't start out chosen. In fact, he was only blessed by association. His uncle was the one God spoke to, the one who had the visions. So this man followed. He traveled with his uncle, prospered because of him, and found himself growing, not because he was obedient, but because he was connected to someone who was. But the more they both grew, the more tension built between them. Their people started fighting, their values started clashing, and instead of humbling himself, this man made a decision. He looked out over the land and picked what looked best, the greenest pastures, the richest cities, but not the most God-honoring place. In fact, it was the most sinful, and because of where he planted himself and who he surrounded himself with, his entire life unraveled. He lost his home, his wife turned back to destruction, and in the end, he barely escaped with his life. Who was he? Lot, Abraham's nephew, a man who was blessed until his company cost him everything. And this is where some of you are right now. You're Lot. You're surviving in a circle that's spiritually toxic. You're camping in Sodom and wondering why God feels distant. You're walking with people who don't pray, don't believe, don't grow, and you're expecting to thrive while surrounded by compromise. Be honest with yourself. You cannot follow Christ and cling to company that constantly pulls you into sin. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33 says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good character." That's not just a warning, it's a law. You cannot outpray your environment. You cannot override God's will by staying loyal to who you know you need to walk away from. Examine your circle. Ask yourself, are they pushing me toward Christ or pulling me away? Matthew 7 verse 20 says, "By their fruit you will recognize them." If there's no fruit, there's no future. Don't wait for them to change. You've been holding on, hoping they'll grow with you. But God didn't call Lot to Abraham's journey, and he might not be calling them to yours. Create space. This doesn't mean you hate them. It means you recognize the season is over. Jesus walked away from crowds that weren't aligned with his mission. So should you. Some of the people closest to you are the very ones keeping you furthest from God. And until you let them go, you'll keep wondering why you're stuck. You've laughed with them, cried with them, shared dreams, but lately, every time you're around them, you feel spiritually off, convicted, drained, misaligned, and deep down, you know, God's been nudging you to walk away. Let them go, and watch what God does when you